In this podcast episode, host Ben Shapiro delves into several pressing issues currently capturing public attention. The episode opens with an extensive update on the mysterious disappearance and alleged kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie, mother of TV personality Savannah Guthrie. It further explores rising political violence, analyzes shifting religious demographics within the Republican Party, discusses controversies surrounding President Trump's social media activity, and touches on cultural moments like Super Bowl commercials and ongoing geopolitical concerns. Throughout, Shapiro emphasizes the implications on American society, politics, and culture. The episode begins by reporting on the alarming abduction of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie from her upscale Tucson home. The family and authorities continue to grapple with the uncertainty surrounding her safety. A ransom note demanding millions in Bitcoin was sent to TMZ 2 days after Guthrie's disappearance, containing insider details such as information about her Apple Watch and a damaged floodlight, lending credibility to the kidnapper's knowledge and suggesting a targeted attack rather than a random robbery. Savannah Guthrie publicly pleaded on national media for her mother's release, highlighting her mother's fragile health and urgent need for medication. Law enforcement officials remain cautious, but have confirmed reviewing over 100 tips, many misleading or fake, including a notable arrest of a California man who sent false ransom texts to the family, complicating the investigation. The original ransom deadline has passed without known consequences, and the next critical deadline looms, accompanied by threats of harm if the ransom demands are not met. Authorities emphasize the importance of proof of life before any payment is considered. And while the family is ready to communicate, genuine engagement with the abductors has yet to materialize. Contradictory reports about the circumstances at the Guthrie residences have surfaced and been walked back by officials, including confusion over who transported Nancy the night she disappeared and whether forced entry occurred. Digital forensic efforts are ongoing, with investigators extracting data from the devices and homes of close family members. Although no prime suspect or person of interest has been named, the possibility of internal family knowledge remains under consideration by some law enforcement sources, though publicly denied by the sheriff. Turning to national security concerns, Shapiro reports on increasing political violence and extremism, highlighting recent violent plots. A Maryland man was arrested for alleged attempted murder of a presidential appointee, motivated by fears of a fascist takeover should President Trump be reelected. The individual was found to have weapon stashes and drafted manifestos with plans of violence and body disposal. Likewise, federal authorities arrested Kyle Wagner, a self-proclaimed Antifa affiliate, in Minneapolis for threats to assault, kill, and dox law enforcement officers, particularly ICE agents. Wagner openly called for armed resistance and was publicly defiant during his arrest, even while wearing women's clothing, illustrating the chaotic and radicalized nature of some domestic threats. The episode touches on the troubling normalization of violence both in rhetoric and action, exacerbated by political leaders and the media. It details how some left-wing figures have appeared to tacitly condone protests that have escalated into church invasions and other disruptions, with high-profile Democrats reluctant to fully condemn these acts. The Department of Justice has charged multiple individuals involved in these church disturbances under applicable laws. The Biden administration's firm stance on immigration enforcement and support for ICE is also noted in contrast to this unrest. Shapiro provides an in-depth analysis of the changing religious landscape within the Republican Party, stressing that the coalition supporting Trump and future GOP candidates is not solely based on conservatism or Christianity, but broadly on opposition to left-wing radicalism. Data shows a gradual but steady increase in religiously unaffiliated and non-Christian voters within the party since 2013, alongside declines in traditional white evangelical dominance, reflecting broader declining religious attendance trends, especially among younger generations. Attendance at religious services has fallen dramatically for younger Americans compared to their elders, indicating a growing secularization of the electorate. Although the most religious voters still overwhelmingly lean Republican and hold conservative views on issues like abortion, The party cannot afford to narrowly focus on fringe traditionalist social policies if it aims to maintain and expand its coalition. Shapiro cautions against rejecting moderation and ecumenical approaches, highlighting Trump's ability to appeal across a religiously diverse base without being overtly sectarian. The episode recounts President Trump's appearance at the National Prayer Breakfast, where he delivered a speech laced with humor and humility regarding his own salvation and religious qualification for heaven. Trump's approach reflects the broad, inclusive religious posture that resonates with a large segment of Americans while maintaining his political messaging. The president's lighthearted remarks about other conservative figures and sold-out Bible sales emphasize his continued connection with faith communities without alienating his more secular supporters. However, the episode also addresses a recent controversy involving a video posted by Trump on his Truth Social platform, which ended with an offensive image depicting former President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama as apes. Shapiro suggests Trump likely did not watch the entire video and unknowingly propagated the problematic content during late-night posting sessions. Although unintentionally harmful, such posts damage Trump's wider appeal and fuel negative media narratives about him. This underscores both the pitfalls of unfiltered social media use and the fine line political figures walk in their communications. Shapiro shifts to lighter cultural commentary by reviewing several notable Super Bowl commercials. He critiques some ads sharply, describing certain attempts at humor or celebrity use as wasted opportunities or cringeworthy, such as a confusing Bud Light spot and a perplexing Pringles commercial. Conversely, the Xfinity Jurassic Park-themed commercial and the Fanatic Sportsbook ad featuring Kendall Jenner received praise for cleverness, effective storytelling, and humor. The discussion reflects on how advertisers attempt to capture diverse audiences during the biggest sporting event of the year, using a mix of nostalgia, star power, and viral elements. The episode also highlights the impact of ongoing political culture on future elections. Shapiro stresses that while the left continues to aggressively politicize issues like voter ID laws, claiming racism and suppression, polling overwhelmingly favors such measures, underscoring a disconnect between political elites and average voters. This miscalculation contributes to the Republicans' sustained opportunity to appeal to moderates and disaffected voters seeking stability amid rising radicalism. Challenges remain for the GOP as economic anxiety and voter fatigue combine to temper enthusiasm for change. Shapiro concludes that while Trump maintains a robust coalition united primarily by opposition to leftist extremes, the Republicans must balance principled conservatism with pragmatic inclusiveness to regain and hold power effectively. Finally, the podcast briefly touches on international issues, including stalled negotiations with Iran, signaling continued uncertainty in global diplomacy. This segment foreshadows future discussions within the series, but is not deeply elaborated in this episode. Shapiro encourages listeners interested in real-time political developments and investigations to subscribe to related Daily Wire Plus content.